Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the Wrestling Inc. podcast. It's Monday, October 10th. I'm joined as always by Matt Morgan. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Good, man. And then thanks for coming back on every week. And so, as you can see, Glenn is not here again. So I'm going to, sorry, I was getting a text right there. But Glenn is not with us this week. He was at tonight's Raw, but he will be back next week. And I might or might not be on next week's show. Raw is in Denver, and so I might be attending. So we'll see. But Matt, what did you think of tonight's show?
I liked it. As a whole, I liked it. There's some things obviously that we'll get into as we go match by match, segment by segment. But let's get cracking into it. I liked it overall, though.
Yeah, I agree. I thought second week in a row. I thought it obviously the 3 hours is always going to be an issue, but other than that, I thought it was a pretty solid show overall, and it didn't really drag at too many points. So the show opened up with the Sasha Banks promo. Sasha asked for her match against Charlotte to be inside of the Hell in a Cell. Charlotte comes out, and then Rusev comes out, which was kind of random. And he just cuts his promo saying nobody cares about the women's revolution. He just kind of ripping everything, which I thought was great. Charlotte cut him off, ripped out his mic, and accepted the match at Hell in a Cell. I thought Rusev was great here. I thought Sasha's promo, I thought she was delivering it fine, but it just seemed redundant. Like we've heard this promo before.
I started the show about 5 minutes behind on my DVR, right? And I was going to catch up during one of the commercials, like I always do. I, honest to God, thought I was watching a past episode of Raw when Sasha first won the title. I swear to God, from her, because I saw her promo at the beginning of her promo, and I was like, wait a minute, is this? I'm on the wrong Raw. I'm on the Raw the night that after she won the title or something like that. What the hell is this? That's how almost identical this promo was. I was waiting to hear her say that she was injured and run that. Remember, she said that in that last the one promo that she opened the show with. I was waiting to hear those words to know I was on the wrong episode. I swear to God, it was that identical.
Yeah, it was very I've been there, done that. But I thought Charlotte was great. Rusev I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
Lana came out. Roman Reigns came out. Some back and forth, which led to a mixed tag early in the match. But as far as opening segments go, it was different. You had different characters in there, so I personally like this opener.
Yeah, I did too. They just need to be very careful, not to be sexist here or anything like that. I get we're trying to make the women mean more, but when you double drop kick, a big bad mamma jamma like Rusev out of the ring, you got to be careful because he's not going to be. If they did that to me, I would have taken that through the ropes and I would have laughed. I would have laughed like that was a love tap. I don't know. Like Rusev wouldn't sell it overly big. He wouldn't be pissed off. He wouldn't be even embarrassed, even though he took his ass over tea kettle through the rope. Do you know what I mean? You have to be very delicate with that, with protecting their talents.
Yeah, and I feel like they don't protect enough talents. Like they wouldn't be doing that spot with Brock or Undertaker.
Oh my God, I can just imagine his reaction to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I feel like Rusev is one of those characters that it's about time that he kind of moves in the upper echelon where he starts getting protected more and treated a little differently because they need more top guys, and he's someone that could easily fit that bill.
He did what they asked of him. He put him in the mid card. He did some comedy when was needed and did phenomenally well with it. He did very well in getting, everybody's favorite babyface over and stop being booed so much in Roman Reigns. This guy's a utility player, which is rare for a big guy. Big guys like us, we're not utility players. We're usually one-trick ponies. And he exceeded their expectations. I guarantee it when they put him in that mid-card upper echelon on the mid-card spot, I'd say. He deserves a lot more now. Make him serious.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we went to Cesaro against Kofi Kingston. Sheamus was doing some Facebook Live tweeting, I don't know, whatever you call Facebook living.
Mhm.
Cesaro attempted a 619 at one point, so I guess that wasn't a one-time thing. Kofi looked a little off tonight. Kind of botched that finish. Sheamus was fighting with Big E and Xavier Woods outside the ring, and Kofi rolled up Cesaro for the win. Matt, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, that was a little sloppy there, which is rare for Kofi. Man, Kofi finally, he doesn't completely lose. He doesn't completely job out like he always does in these singles matches. Anytime there's a tag program, it's always Kofi. If you notice, in these singles program, in these quick one-on-one, tag matches, if you will, with singles guys, and he always loses, always. I thought tonight was cool. He finally gets a victory, but that wasn't the story. He didn't win because they were trying to get him or them over. They just wanted to continue their storyline between the two, inner fighting, heels. Well, sorry, Sheamus being the heel, I should say.
Right. You think? We still got a couple of weeks till Hell in a Cell. You think they'll go with the title change, or you think they'll keep it on the New Day?
It better stand. I still think it needs to be Gallows in that. I just think it needs to be Gallows Anderson that wins that title. So I hope it's New Day.
Yeah, I think at this point they're going with New Day to break Demolition's record, so they're going to be champs through the end of the year.
Do they know nobody cares? Like, I was around when that record was set, and I don't even remember it being set, and I watched every single Saturday.
Yeah, I think Demolition's involved. They sued WWE, so they probably want to write them out of the record books. So I don't know, but it definitely seems like they've gone this long. I could see them just going all the way at this point. Next, we had a Bayley squash match. I think we both agreed on these in the past that it's a great way to get her character over. This one was pretty sloppy.
Very sloppy.
Yeah, it was an ugly match, but Bayley was super over. Yeah. And got the win. It almost looks like they called an audible, and we're like, let's just end this thing, because it ended pretty quickly. It
was. I was going to say that too. I was going to say an inside reversal off the ropes right into the Bayley to belly like that. I was like, I guarantee you they called that right on the fly to get that other girl, the freak, out of the ring. That's another example. Though they always say it takes two to have a good match, and it's true. That's not an indictment on Bayley by any stretch of the imagination, but that girl, it was not ready to be on TV. No offense to her.
Right. It seems like if you're doing squash matches, they shouldn't be back and forth, because these guys they don't have the experience.
What happens if Bayley got hurt? There's so many different. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So next we had a cruiserweight match: Sin Cara and Lince Dorado versus Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Nese is looking kind of like Damian Sandow if he had been violating the wellness policy for years,
and thrown in a dryer for 2 months. But yes,
Dorado picked up the win for their team. I thought Dorado looked great.
He was over.
Yeah, it was a fun match. Sin Cara is now a part of the cruiserweight division. You think this is a good move?
Yeah, I do, because I don't take him serious. He's just a guy who's going to be – we just said it, a few weeks ago. He's a guy that is great to get newer talent over, because he kind of has – I don't want to say an overly established name. It's semi-established name, right? So instead of doing that with him, put him in the cruiserweights. Put him in the cruiser division rather, and have had these other guys beat him. Keep doing what you're doing with him, but do it in the cruiserweight division. Yeah, and I agree with that point. I just feel like he's been like a job guy, for a long time, and with the first name moving from kind of the heavyweight division, I guess, to the cruiserweight division, I would just think like you want someone with a little more steam, just to kind of give it a little more. Just to give it a little more credibility, and that's where I think someone like a Neville. And granted, you want to have it established before you get a big name into the cruiserweight division, but yes. I think Sin Cara just kind of makes it seem more like I don't know, not as important, not as a big deal. Yeah, exactly. If you put Neville in there, that's a very big difference. And they need to do a promo. They need to cut a promo as to why they want to do it. We need to hear why they would want to do this, because the world doesn't look at the average fan, I should say, not the internet fan. So settle down, guys. Don't blow up my Twitter with this crap. The average fan, the mainstream fan, clicking through the channels, is not That's what I mean by mainstream fan. When they're watching the show, they're not going to see any of these other guys as bigger stars right away. Neville, if they've been clicking through the channels before, they've seen Raw before, they know Neville, they're more familiar with him. So if he cuts a promo as to why it's important he wants to be in this division, that can make a much bigger difference than what they're currently doing with the division.
Right. And I agree. But I also agree that it shouldn't be done yet because no one knows who the cruiserweights are right now outside of maybe.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I thought this match was really good. Glenn noted that they actually changed all the ropes for this match. And then for the second cruiserweight match, they used duct tape. So I don't know why they do it for one and not the other, but they physically changed the ropes for this match.
Interesting.
Yeah, backstage, Stephanie ran into Mick Foley, who Foley was coming out to, make his announcements for Hell in a Cell. Almost expecting her to tear him a new one, which she seems to do very well, but instead she asked to go with him to make the Hell in a Cell address.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so which led to the segment. Foley came out. I don't know what the hell was he wearing. That suit was. I don't know, man. That was something.
That may have been funny back in the day when Vince was trying to spruce him up into corporate mankind. That might have been cute then, but good Lord, that was corny.
Yeah, how are you supposed to take this guy serious? But he comes out. He announces Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell. Foley made Jericho's list again. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho came out. Jericho, fantastic as always. This whole show, he was just great. I think he was the MVP of this show. Stephanie McMahon announced that if Jericho beats Seth Rollins tonight, he'll be put in the Hell in a Cell triple threat match, which at one point the plan was for Hell in a Cell to be a triple threat match with Jericho, Owens, and Finn Balor before Balor got injured. Surprisingly, Foley was cool with it, even though that would put the babyface at a disadvantage since,
Good point.
Yeah, but I don't know, Foley, ever since Stephanie just reamed him a new one, he just seems it's hard to take him serious.
It is. And let me ask you something, Raj. Now when you're watching it, this is probably jumped the shark, I'd say like 3 months ago, but now when you're watching it, you almost like going out of your way to see, if you notice like your sensitivity toward her completely emasculating men week after week, have you noticed it like go up? So like you're like super sensitive to see any type of her emasculating male characters.
Yeah. I mean, any character, whether it's the women or the men, it's just, she was doing it with Jericho here when he was like, he was going to put her on the list and she just no-selling his new gimmick. That's getting over. It's like, I don't care about your list. And, she just kind of, Jericho just kind of stood back. So it just drives me nuts.
And that's not good. That's not good.
There's no receipt for any of it.
Exactly. It's back like when Dixie was for TNA, when Dixie was, trying to be this heel leader. Where was it ever going to go? Like, you can't do anything against a female owner or manager or anything like that. There is no comeback for that. There is nothing, like maybe dump a bunch of crap from there, on top of them in the ring one week, or something crazy like that. That's still not a receipt.
Right.
It's a dead end is what it is.
Right. It gets all that heat on Steph and it never goes anywhere.
Yeah.
And next we had a Seth Rollins promo. This promo sounded to me like it could have easily been written for Roman Reigns. Like they're not scripting him as far as what he says any different from any other top babyface. They're not giving their top baby faces unique characters, I guess, or in different styles of promos. At least that's how I felt.
True. From what talking to the boys, my understanding is him more so than Roman gets a little bit more leeway as far as his promos go, meaning he is a lot, he being Seth, has a lot more susceptibility going up to the writing team and saying, hey, look, I don't know if I'm going to say this, this, and this. What about if I say this, this, and that between the two of them? So if he does, if it sounded a little cookie cutter-ish and a little too cute, chances are he didn't change it up or he just went along with what was given to him. which is surprising because he's known to not do that as much.
Yeah. I just feel like there's been something missing since he's been a babyface with his promos. It just doesn't come across as a top babyface promo.
I almost say just don't do anything different except for don't do the crybaby routine. Obviously, you can't do that as a babyface, but still just be Seth. You know, like the dude got hurt, you know, and was speaking really passionate on the WWE networks special they did on him, right? Mm-hmm. Like that guy was interesting. That guy was a little on edge, and you just couldn't wait to see him come back, even though he was going to come back as a heel. I thought, you know, I still was interested in him. He needs to be that guy. Just be himself. Don't worry about being this, you know, G crap babyface. That's not who he is. He's a semi scumbag that is phenomenal in the ring.
Right.
So he's got to fine tune that. He's got to figure out what that edge is, so he's still being considered a face, but not losing that edge while still being a little scumbaggy here and there, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's like, and the best example I could think of is like when Roddy Piper turned babyface. Like you know, he still stayed, you know, kind of annoying and sleazy, and like you couldn't trust him. But he tweaked his character enough that, you know, he was still a babyface. You know, he dropped certain aspects, but kept overall his persona.
Yeah, good call.
Next out, they aired the WWE 2K17 promo. This one they aired the one with Del Rio still in it, and then later they aired the one where he's edited out. And this is something we'll get to later. Paige got suspended again. This promo, all the times they air it, and I still don't get tired of watching it. It's just great.
It is. It's one of the best things on the show. I love it. I can't wait till it comes on.
Yeah. And then we had Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel reprising their Social Outcasts team. Being put together as a team against Enzo and Cass. Chris, who does our live tweeting during Raw, called him Bo Daxel, which I kind of like that name. But before that match could start, Enzo and Cass were ambushed by Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. So your boys getting a little bit of their edge back.
Good. They need a lot more than that. They need to keep going, and that's why I want to see New Day hold on to the titles a little bit longer, because that's who needs to have the title more than anybody on this show right now is Anderson and Gallows.
Yeah, I agree. And so how do you go with that feud though? Because you don't want to beat Enzo and Cass. They've lost. I feel like they've lost a lot of steam over the last month or so. Basically, ever since they lost to the Shining Stars, and they haven't really done much.
Yeah, they have, and this is what I don't know why that is. I know the rationalization is that it's the Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle analogy. These guys can lose and still go back out on the mic and get themselves over. They'll sell T-shirts. They sing. They have their little rhymes. They're entertaining as hell. They can get any act over, which is a lot of pressure to put on two new friggin' characters, for the record. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, you still need wins. You still need wins, like important wins, deep-rooted storyline wins that they just don't get, and I don't understand why. I really don't get it myself, Raj.
Yeah. Someone here is asking in the comment section, do you like the way Gallows and Anderson are being booked now?
Yeah.
Seems like it's too soon to say.
They're trying to take them more serious. We've heard it on commentary now for a few weeks now in a row. I think it's like 3 weeks in a row now, 4 weeks at most, maybe, where they're trying to go out of their way on the announced team to put them over as mean SOBs. And as long as their work will show that, once that bell rings or when they jump somebody or whatnot, their body language shows that. The announced team has been made special notes, you can tell. So that tells me that's the direction they're going with them.
Yeah. So anyway, Enzo and Cass got ambushed, and we come back from break, and Axel is demanding that they have an opponent. Now, at this point, I don't know if you were expecting Braun Strowman, but that's kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah, that actually is a good call. I'll be honest. No, I wasn't expecting that, but that would have been pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw.
And then I could have sworn Michael Cole said that during the break, Foley was scrambling to find opponents for him, even though Axel demanded it after the break. But you got to ignore that kind of stuff, I guess. So we get Sami Zayn and Neville's first match on Raw in a while. Yeah. And yeah, they get the win. Curtis Axel worked the full match. Bo Dallas was never tagged in. And then after the loss, Bo just walked to the back. He's got this good, this mean look that he does pretty well. And then he grabs that stupid sign and just kills the whole thing.
Yeah. He's trying to do too much. I mean, I feel bad for him. You could tell he's fighting for his job. I get that sense every time I see him.
If this is leading to a Bo Dallas Curtis Axel feud, that's not really going to help him much either.
That is definitely not what it's. There's no way. They don't
think so.
I don't think they think highly enough of either, and they should. I don't think they do though.
We'll have to see. I think this is going to be the next Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. This is going to be a
good call there. Yeah, that's a good call. Okay, I take that back.
All right, we had a backstage segment with Lana and Charlotte. Lana gives Charlotte a warning to stay out of Rusev's way. Lana, I think she's just been great on the mic, and she's been really good in these segments.
She is. They're dying to see her wrestle too. Those fans are dying to see her finally become a wrestler. I think. Yeah,
until they see it. Like you saw her matches earlier this year. They weren't pretty.
No, but actually, no. I don't. Maybe that's really bad of me. I don't remember anything really sticking. Maybe I didn't see him.
Yeah,
I fast forwarded through him.
She was wrestling for a little bit, and then that was quickly dropped.
Ah, damn.
Up next, we had Titus versus R-Truth. Titus is doing this Titus brand. Someone in the comment section said that it seems like it's a rib on Ryback, who's doing his own brand thing right now, which I can see. That wouldn't surprise me. R-Truth picks up the win. So I guess Titus's gimmick is that he loses every week. And anytime we've seen that losing gimmick and the losing streak, it usually never ends up well.
Ever. Not since like when we were little kids, when it was on Saturday Morning Superstars type stuff. Like I've not seen it work out.
Yeah, the last time I can remember a top guy who had a losing streak was when Triple H was punished, like in '96 for the curtain call.
And that was behind the scenes.
Well, he lost every match for like 4 months, and then he got the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, but they weren't going above and beyond and saying, "Hey, this guy keeps losing every week, folks." Where it just the burial just keeps making it worse within kayfabe,
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Never works.
Yeah. Backstage segment with T.J. Perkins and Brian Kendrick. I thought Perkins was a little better this week, but he's trying to have the serious talk with Kendrick, and then he's dropping these video game puns. Like, I know you think it's game over, you need another life, and stuff like that, which just kills it. I thought this interview, this segment felt like something on Nick Jr. like after school.
He's too cheesy. He's too cheesy.
Yeah, they just haven't found the right direction with him. I
mean, the dude seems like he's a Jordan collector. I'm sorry, anybody that's a Jordan collector in my book is pretty cool. He if you follow him on social media, for the most part, he is on top of what's going on with pop culture today. He's not some dude who's that cheesy and that corny. This is their fault for trying to make him into a 12-year-old's favorite wrestler. That's what they're obviously doing.
Right.
They hit that child demographic, and in the meantime, it's pissing off a lot of their main fans, their general demographic that know him, who've been waiting to see someone like him come to this show, come to this roster, get an opportunity. And this is what you give us? Like, we'd rather go back and watch him at TNA. We'd rather go back and watch him with all these other companies and the indie scene that he used to work with. Not this cheeseball.
Yeah. I feel like they could do some cool stuff with the video game gimmick, but his promos and stuff have just been he's I don't know.
They're not even cool video games. They're throwback. It's like freaking Nintendo, like one up.
But those are the coolest video games.
Oh, I'm an Arkham Asylum guy. I like the newer games. That's come on, man. That is cheap. That's corny. The kids aren't even going to get that. The demo they're hitting, they're talking about video games that these kids don't even get. Like, why not throw them friggin' Pac-Man in the background while they're at it? So corny. These guys are so out of touch. These writers, do you know like their age range by any chance?
The writers, I'm assuming they're all like 20s.
Shame on them. Shame on them. I'm 40. I shouldn't be catching on to this. Like, I shouldn't recognize that is corny. Yeah. I should be like, oh, cool, something blast from the past. Like, one up. I know what that means. That was Super Mario Brothers when I get a green mushroom. Oh, that's great. Like,
yeah, you know who does it, right? Xavier Woods. Like he'll drop the video game references and stuff in his promos, but doesn't come across as just corny and bland.
Great point. They're having it done for free on his YouTube channel. Just friggin' take notes. Creative team crap.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, Perkins said that he knows that Kendrick's not a bad guy, and they have this little talk, and he goes to offer to shake his hand. Kendrick accepts, but then goes to sucker punch him, and Perkins is one step ahead this time and floors Kendrick. So that I thought that was good. This was like a 1 week where Perkins didn't end up looking like a chump. So
yeah, made him look very aggressive.
Yeah. So
I like that.
I like that. Braun Strowman's opponents were the Splash Brothers. They cut. I thought it was. I was amused by their promo that they cut. And this is the next step that they usually take once they've been doing the squash matches. They go to the handicap matches. Strowman, oh my God, he did that double drop kick. Did you see that, or that drop kick that he did?
Yeah.
He should never do that again. But then he went on to destroy them. So I guess in storylines, Foley spent all week coming up with the Splash Brothers.
Good job, Mick. Good job, Mick.
Yeah, and Strowman asked for real competition next week, or said that there will be consequences. It's kind of standard stuff. But Matt, your thought? I was entertained by this segment. I thought the Splash Brothers were cheesy enough that it wasn't annoyingly cheesy. I was amused by it. But what'd you think?
I used to have what do you call it, handicap matches with TNA, and I remember one was with Daivari and somebody else, Sean Daivari, and we came up with some pretty cool things. At least I thought so. Cool two guys at once moves that you can do to show your power off, but that's different. A double fall away slam I hit on him and his partner. I stacked them both in my arms and double, sack of shit, SOS, fall away slam them both into like double squishers, double stack them up side slams. There's things you can do to show off your power is my point, but you can be creative and new when you do it. I didn't see that. They tried to do it with the drop kick and I failed miserably. That dude cannot jump over a friggin' encyclopedia, let alone should be throwing drop kicks.
Yeah, when they went to replays, they made sure not to show that one.
Good. It's the drizzling you-know-whats.
Yeah, but I mean, it is impressive how huge this guy is. But
all right, look, I'm going to throw this out there right now. I was 340 pounds. What is he? 360 legit. I think he's 360, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I had a 42-inch vertical leap. All right, I could do a shooting star off the top ropes. I'm not impressed that this guy can't jump over a friggin' index card.
Yeah. So do you get any extra pressure backstage because you are a big guy and you are getting a push because you are a big guy,
right?
And these other smaller guys that have been around a while are having to get squashed. Is there extra pressure backstage when in situations like this?
On the bigger guy or
on the bigger guy? Yeah.
As far as what, like the guys being jealous of the
Yeah. Exactly, and from management, because they're giving you all this, they're expecting you to get over the boys, having to do the jobs.
I'll give you a great example. Shannon Moore was a guy that he had to go to get to, like, Team Lesnar when I first started. It was me, Nathan Jones, Big Show, A-Train, just all the biggest Survivor Series team of all time, and it will never, no other team will be bigger. Anyways, Shannon Moore was that guy. That I was first in a scheduled one-on-one match with, where I was just supposed to eat him up, right? And this was a guy that had been on TV years before I had, both WCW and Raw. And here I come up, and I remember I felt it was like I had to go out of my way to make him, like, comfortable with it. You know what I mean? Because he don't know me from Adam. Can I hurt him? Can I not? And just so we're clear, even the upper echelon guys were like, you better take care of him out there. You know, I know you're new, but you better take care of Shannon. Shannon's one of our guys, you know. Even Funaki, guys, you know, JBL will be like, hey, Funaki's one of us. So he ain't one of those little VW guys that you're just going to squish and hurt and break their neck and not care. He's one of us. I remember that like yesterday, but that was a good thing for me to know. But at the same time, you still got to go out there and be a bad mamma jamma. You've got to be bigger than life. You still got to be strong as hell, and you got to plug that crap out. Okay? You take care of your opponent. You do the best of your ability to do so, but screw everything every one of those guys just said at the end of the day, because guess what? You need to go out and get yourself over. That's the number one concern.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, because it always seems like it could be a blessing and a curse when you've got that size.
It puts a neon sign on your back, and haters come out, and they would never do it to my face. They'd always do it personally. They do it behind my back to Vince, like I'm not safe in the ring. All of this crap, you know, it always happened behind my back, but to my face, like, oh, good job, man, that was great. Yeah, you're getting it. That kind of crap, you know. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude.
Right. So up next, we had Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks against Charlotte and Rusev. You know, again, we're seeing you know, the Reigns and Rusev and Sasha and Charlotte we've been seeing forever. So this mixes it up a little bit throughout the match. Or we want Lana chance, and we want Sasha whenever Reigns was in there. Sasha won the match for her team, which was cool. You know, because I always talk about this, where when someone wins the title, give them a little steam the following week, you know. Don't be getting beat, you know, have them get beat right off the bat. And again, it puts the women on that serious that serious platform that they treat the guys like, you know. Let's be honest. I was thinking, I know it wasn't the main storyline, but I still thought they're going to give it to Roman. Do you know what I'm saying? I thought like Roman would get the victory because it's Roman Reigns. Here's another way for Roman to win. And I thought that was cool. It made the girls seem a lot more important, and it put them where they should be, in the same exact level of importance. Right. There was a backstage promo with Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. You know, there's a lot of bad comedy in WWE, but the stuff with these guys is just great.
Yes, it is.
I mean, they're just awesome, and they do a lot of over the top stuff, but they do a lot of subtle stuff, which I love. Like when Jericho is saying, you know, like, we're the undisputed, you know, I mean, the Universal Champion, and the face that Kevin Owens made, like, just like kind of brushing it off, just kind of annoyed, but going along with it. I'm just such a fan of these guys. I thought this was great.
Kevin, I've been saying this for months. You have to go back and watch all of his matches. Everyone at home, if you have a bunch of DVR Raws like I do, that's like this big on your DVR list because you're too lazy to hit delete like me, go back and watch specifically Kevin Owens matches way before the title. Listen to every one of his little isms he'll throw out there during his matches, his promos. These are the subtleties that you're talking about, Raj. They're hilarious. I think he to me is my favorite character on the show. Him and Rollins is a little bit behind him, but he's just incredibly entertaining to me.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, in a lot of ways, this was the most interesting thing on the show. You had Paul Heyman come out to cut a promo. He cuts a promo on Bill Goldberg. So, you know, they got Bill Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. That's the plan for the Survivor Series next month. Surprisingly, not much of a reaction for Goldberg. They really were forcing the Goldberg chants. By the end, they got him going, but I don't know. What do you think? It looks like you don't agree.
I'm surprised I heard Goldberg chants at all, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Dude, when was the last time we saw him? Was it
12 years ago?
Was it Mania 20?
Yeah.
MSG. I was there. That's a long time. Yeah. I'm very surprised that there was any Goldberg chance. I didn't think there were going to be any. Even with Paul leading them into it, I was going to see, once you said that Glenn went to the show tonight, I was going to see where they piped in or not.
Yeah.
I saw fans chanting it, but were they just following the leader and playing, you know, monkey see, monkey do, because they heard, you know, the piped in Goldbergs? I want to find that out. we would chant, like our generation of fans would be there chanting and going bananas, I'm sure, but not the kids, not the fans that are there watching, wanting to see that Ring of Honor style type wrestler, the Kevin Owens, the Seth Rollins. They don't give a crap about Goldberg coming back. I don't think they would.
Yeah.
Not at this stage, I mean.
Yeah, and I'll admit I'm intrigued by this match. I've always been big into box office, the big names, wrestling each other. And I'm a big fan of greatly work matches that have great work and are great matches as well, but I like the mix, the storylines, the big stars. Yeah. So I'm interested, but it'll be interesting to see how the crowd responds, because the pay-per-view crowds are usually more smarky and
right.
Less forgiving. And we saw how the WrestleMania 20 crowd was. Mm-hmm. You think they're gonna just crap all over this match?
If they do the double tackle spots and you hit the ropes, no, you hit the ropes, oh, you hit the ropes, that crap from 1985, then yeah, they're gonna fart all over it. But don't sell Bill short as far as being an athlete's concerned. He might have some gray in his beard now and whatnot, but he's still a hell of an athlete at the end of the day. I think Bill's going to surprise a lot of people with the condition he comes into this.
And I'm sure they'll lay this match out. So, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors and gimmicks and stuff. So, it's not an athletic contest for 20 minutes. But
and here's the thing: they both respect the crap out of each other privately. So that's really important. That means Brock is going to work. That's the very important key here.
Is that a scary thing though? Because Brock's a very physical guy, and this is somebody that hasn't wrestled in 12 years.
No, Brock can take care of his opponent. Watch Brock versus Kurt, the size difference. Watch how Brock would sell all over that ring for Kurt, because he did respect Kurt. And he's a hell of an athlete. He's still a top flight athlete. Watch. Brock's gonna have his working shoes on. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the build goes. Goldberg will be in Denver next week for Raw. So his first appearance on Raw in 12 years. So, I wasn't going to go to next week's show just because of the podcast and everything, but yeah, I might have to go check that out.
Nah, you gotta go. Bill's a class act too in real life. Everybody likes Bill.
Yeah. One more thing. I know we brought this up last night, but you a little surprised that they're just doing it right away at Survivor Series and not saving it especially because I think it was Dave Meltzer that's reported that the plan is for Brock to face Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Now, to me, Goldberg and Brock is a much bigger match than Shane. Like, you do Shane now and you save Goldberg for Mania, or at least the Royal Rumble where you're at the Alamo Dome.
I'm with you 1,000% with that, right? 100%. This is a non-wrestler going against the Beast Incarnate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's not. I get Shane McMahon, but come on. Like, this is the one entity out there, on the opposite side of the polar universe that can offset the Beast, being Goldberg. Right. He's the Mania match. That said, though, dumb question, when is the game been fully released, right? It's already been released, obviously.
Tonight. Like, they're doing.
Tonight?
Yeah.
That's why. They're that corny. I'm telling you the truth. They're that corny that this video game crap means more, apparently, than
WrestleMania.
I know how ludicrous this sounds. I know it does, but you just said it yourself. Yeah, it's not even a question. Goldberg or Shane McMahon versus the Beast Incarnate. It's not a question.
Right, but you still could have done stuff to promote the game. You could have still been advertising Goldberg for the Survivor Series to answer Brock Lesnar and do a slow build to like they did with Sting and Triple H.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
I don't know. Again, it's too early to say. Who knows? Maybe it'll get such a huge reaction that they decide to go with a rematch, and maybe do a rematch at Rumble and then a third at Mania. So we'll see.
Do we know? I know the story's set up because Brock beat him down, but whatnot. But is it definite, Shane and Brock? Is that definite? I mean, I know nothing's definite, but is it really that strong of a rumor?
I think, that's the plan. I think every year the WrestleMania plans get jacked. Like last year was supposed to be Cena and Undertaker. But yeah, that was the plan. I mean, even if you don't do Lesnar and Shane, who else do you do?
A newer guy. A newer guy that hopefully they built by then. That's yeah.
Yeah, there's not that much time,
Yeah.
so I don't know who they'd be able to build up that fast.
Should have done more Braun. Let Braun start going through your roster a little bit more. I don't know, somebody.
Yeah.
Because they got to look the part physically too, which is tough.
Yeah, and they just got to be over with the fans. And Braun's not there.
No.
All right. So next we had another Emma to Emmalina promo. I mean, she's looking great.
That was such a Tori Wilson, like, that was the antithesis of what this division was supposed to be to me. Like, sell it with sex. Like, we really, come on, guys, it's 2016. Why couldn't we see some clips of her, of what a badass in the ring she is? Because she is super underrated in the ring.
I agree with that, but at the same time, there's no one kind of being the sex symbol, so having one, I feel like, is, it's a little different.
Can't she just be hot wrestling or wearing? Okay, shoot a couple clips of her in her bikini, great. But show some action there. Show some of her promo work. Show some. Well, they can't show promo work because then it reveals what her gimmick is. But you know what I'm saying. I just thought I was watching a Tori Wilson, Sable, I don't know, Sunny, Cheesy Beach photo shoot crap.
Yeah, and it definitely did seem like that. Up next, we had Arya Davari versus T.J. Perkins. Apparently, WWE, if you're of Arabic descent, you get the same gimmick, just recycled, down the line.
I'm gonna call them out right now. I'm gonna call out Sean Davari right now. I know it for a fact. He gave his brother Raj. What is that? What do you call the headpiece? What's the proper word for it? Do you know offhand? I never do, and I don't want to insult anybody.
Yeah, the turban is what the Sikhs wear.
Okay,
I don't think that's what they call it for. I don't know.
The head. Let's just say
the headdress.
The headdress. All right, that I promise you was Sean Davari's. That was the same one he wore.
Yeah.
Down to he's really athletic, by the way. His brother Arya, but they just made him do his brother's shtick again.
That's all they know how to do with Middle Eastern wrestlers,
They had a cool opportunity with Mark Capani. That was fresh. That was cool at first, and then they got all chicken shit.
They went all Al Qaeda with it.
Yeah.
So you had Arya Davari. For those who don't know, he's the younger brother of Sean Davari, who was with Muhammad Hassan. He was his manager, and then he had a good wrestling career. He could go in the ring. He's starting a wrestling academy with Ken Anderson. I have an interview coming up with them that will be on the site next week.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. And but this match, Arya Davari, T.J. Perkins, the crowd was pretty quiet. Again, you're putting a lot of these guys on TV without any buildup. So it's just like you're out there and you're doing a match.
Yeah.
And it felt like you could hear individual chants during this match, like one guy yelling in the crowd.
It was Glenn. He's chanting silver stars.
I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't make Davari change his name, because they do that for job guys. They have them change their name. So a little surprised with that.
I know Vince liked Sean a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that did. Maybe it has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. But Sean, I know he's my buddy, but he's one of the quickest studies I've ever seen in the business as far as picking up the backstage politics, picking up the in-ring stuff. He was doing this like at 19. He would help me, I remember. When I was at TNA, there was a time a booker had an issue doing a job to me, right? And it was, in his defense, they were going to do it like a 3-minute squash match out of nowhere. No advertising, nothing, in Book's defense. But I was heated. And Sean would come and calm me down. And this is a guy that's like 7 years, 8 years younger than me. Calming me down and explaining me the business side of it as to why, not to take things personally. My point is that Arya is the same way as far as getting the business. And they've got a great talent in him. Anytime you can have somebody that young understand the business, the inside and outs of it, you're only going to have a better company for it, because you know your role, which a lot of these dudes don't know.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah, and I also think, WWE tries so hard to seem I don't know, with it or ahead of the curve. They're definitely not ahead of the curve, but with how they're pushing their women and they're equal to men now, like it's trying to push that they're, I guess, politically on the level. I don't know.
No,
and
good.
It seems like if you're doing that, do that with Davari. Don't give him some stereotypical gimmick. That's so 1980s.
Yep. Take a page out of the first. His brother being the manager of Muhammad Hassan.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. that was cool, and that would be cool again. And no one would really remember it either. I don't think. I think it was long enough ago.
Right. And do you notice that there were some delete chants? There were some delete chants like throughout this show. So Matt Hardy's influence. Anyway, TJ Perkins picked up the win. It was a good match. I think putting the cruiserweight matches when it's not established in the third hour is a mistake, but that's me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do.
And then we went to the main event, Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins. Again, they're trying to make Seth Rollins, the main babyface, but I think the crowd was 50-50 here between Jericho and Rollins.
This is the problem, and I can't believe I'm saying this because Chris is such a good worker and such all not just in the ring. I mean, on the mic, everywhere. But that's the problem sometimes when you get too cute as a heel and you get too entertaining as a heel. Is that it's not because Seth isn't over as a face. It's not that at all. It's that Chris and KO are friggin' too entertaining almost. And I like it. I know I'm not supposed to, when we analyze this, and from a wrestler's perspective, I'm supposed to say, no, if you're a heel, you gotta be a heel. You can't be too entertaining, that kind of thing. That's what we're taught to a degree. As a heel, you get the face over first. You worry about that first, and then you do all the other crap along the way. So anything that went not sour, but if the fans weren't into Seth as much, it's not an indictment on Seth by any means. It's that Chris is that damn entertaining right now, and he's hot. But I thought they popped really well for Seth. Seth is so good in the ring. He's one of the few guys that with his work, can offset some of the bad promos. And not bad on his part, but badly written for him part. Listen, we'll go back and watch the match. You'll see it. The cadence of the crowd cheering and going up and down throughout the match for him. It wasn't like 50-50 like most 50-50 matches are. You know what I mean? And that's a tough spot to be in because he's going against an uber entertaining heel.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. I think Jericho in there with anybody, it would have been the same reaction. Jericho's he's that entertaining right now and in a likable way. The list thing is just hilarious. and the way he says it, I mean, just everything about it. He's on fire right now. That's why I think he's rumored to be leaving soon. Like before the Royal Rumble. So I think he could do a babyface turn and have a little run with Kevin Owens before he's gone again.
They've got to. I know he's a huge fan of KO, obviously. That's why he's cool putting himself in the secondary role with KO right now, because that's how confident and how, there's so many wrestlers that would be way too insecure, no matter how over they are, no matter what kind of Hall of Fame career they've had. Even more so, they'd be protective to do what Chris is doing for KO right now by purposely booking it where he's taking that secondary role between him and KO. It makes Kevin look like a bigger star. How do you not respect the hell out of that, number one? And number two, Chris, I hope he's remembered for what he is. I'm not just saying this because he's like some best friend of mine or something like that, but this dude is the Madonna of pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. Think about it. Who reinvents himself better than him or more frequently than him?
And you look at him now, it doesn't look like he's a veteran that sticks out like he's the old guy or anything. And he's 46 and he fits right in. It doesn't seem like he's been around a long time.
He's 46?
Yeah. Or 45 or 46. I think he's 46.
You don't look him. You don't look it at all.
Right.
You're right. You don't.
So Seth Rollins won the match. So it's going to be 1-on-1. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, Hell in a Cell. Matt, how do you book this match? Rollins hasn't really won a match
as being a face
in ages.
Right, yeah, as being a face, he's real big. Yeah. Man, these are literally my two favorite guys on the show. Yeah. as a fan, as from watching from a fan's perspective. Geez, booking wise, it's you got to keep it on KO a little bit longer here. It's a little too premature for him, in my opinion, to drop it, unless their goal was to make him a transitional champion all along.
Yeah, it seems like if KO beats him again, it kind of kills that dead, and I just don't know what else you do after that. And so I can almost see them going with Rollins, and then it extends that feud going farther, and then putting it back on Owens.
That'd be great. I love the feud. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, if you had to grade the show on a scale, let's go 1 to 5. What would you give it?
3.75.
There you go. Nice. I would say a solid 3.5. Yeah, I thought it was a good show. I thought last week too. I think you and Vince both affected my rating for No Mercy last night, because I didn't. After I thought about it, I was like, it wasn't that bad. It was actually It had 2 really good matches. It just, the order of the show made it end on a flat note that affected it. But I thought those 2 matches were so good that it should have gotten a little higher.
I did go back and watch those 2 matches again, by the way. But that was all that was good on it.
Yeah. But those 2, I mean, especially Ziggler and Miz, I thought that was both of their career best matches. So I don't know. I think I'm bumping that rating up. Let's get into let's get a couple of news items here. Paige suspended again, second time. She's claiming it was something that she had a prescription for. I mean, what do you say with this?
Without speculating, because I don't know what the prescription was, right? Everybody knows at least they should. I'm a painkiller addict myself. I've been sober 10 years. But with that said, there are prescription drugs out there that are important for people to take and that they need, that are not addicted to these things like I am, I should still say. Like Roman Reigns, he got popped for what was it, Adderall?
Yeah.
He had a prescription for it. Like, that's the crap I'm talking about. That is the slippery slope that they put themselves on, them being WWE wellness policy. And who knows what that could be, but with Paige. And but she has another black eye, doesn't she? She's another black eye, another black check off that she's done drugs, and that's all people will know about it. And that bothers the crap out of me, because they do not go into detail enough as to what it was and what's the friggin' violation. You know, put it out there, especially if it's a pain. I'm not saying prescription drugs or anything less than than the drug like pot, cocaine, something like that. But still, nonetheless, if they have a prescription for it, like Romans wasn't really a violation.
Yeah,
it really wasn't, and that's frustrating. You know, somebody who has ADD himself, like I'd be really pissed off by that if that happened to me. You know, my name gets put out there and dragged through the mud.
Unless he didn't have the prescription, which might have been the case. Like if he had used it in a social setting, or you know, not for a medical reason,
which people definitely do use it for, no question.
Yeah. Now with how the wellness policy works, it's 3 strikes and you're out, right? Like unconditional release. Is that how it works? Like you could go work anywhere you want if you were to get popped a third time?
To my understanding, you can fight one of them. I could be wrong, but when they first put it in, when I was there, it was you could fight against one of the violations or something like that. Like,
well, now they have it
like that.
Before they had it where 3 strikes and you were gone permanently, and then they switched that to where you can come back, and I think you start fresh. So, like, I think Jeff Hardy had, was it 2? But he could come back, and I think it would be reset. And so yes, but if Paige wanted to be released, in theory, all she would have to do is fail one more time, right? Or is
Yes. Chris Masters is a good example too. He came back and did have a clean slate. I remember that vividly, actually. When he had 2 strikes previously, was released, not for his third violation, but he was just released. He'd come back and he did have a fresh slate, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, Paige publicly speaking out against the company. You know how much WWE hates that.
Yeah.
Wrestlers speaking out of turn.
Yep.
You think this might be the last straw? You think they'll let her go?
Yeah, I think they think enough of the women's division finally that, yeah, I think they do. I think they don't think anybody on that show is too big for that company. Not one talent is bigger than the company is what I mean. They really think that. And then when, God forbid, you even sneeze in their direction publicly, like Christmas, it's like they really have that axe to grind once you do. And it's like, why not just stop being babies about it? Take that talent, make money off of their mouth, make money off of their attitude. Like Paige, I will give her a live mic and just let her go to town. You want to light that women's division on fire and treat it the way it needs to be treated, with some more realness, with some authenticity. We said we want characters. She's a character. She's a walking, talking, 24/7 character. She's a gimmick, and I think she's entertaining as hell.
I agree. She's so different, has such a cool character that it stands out, and there's a lot you could do with her. So I hope cooler heads prevail. I hope she can get everything together. She has had the neck injury, said she needs surgery. Hopefully she can get what she needs, get her neck right, get healthy, and then do what she feels is best.
Yep.
And another thing, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, it's looking like Survivor Series. If it's a one-off, which that was the plan, and it is the plan unless things change, do you just have Lesnar beat Goldberg straight up?
No, if it's a one-off, like everyone says it, I can't see it as that. Honestly, I'm not buying this Shane McMahon Brock Mania match. I have a hard time struggling with it. So because of that, here's what I'm thinking: that Brock gets his win, and then they go into Mania again because they're now tied 1-1. That's a bigger box office match. They both have a win against one another. Paul is great talking about people's records against his client. But okay, even if that doesn't happen, there's no way in hell they're having Brock Lesnar lose to Bill Goldberg at Survivor Series. No way in hell, especially because Goldberg went over at MSG.
Right. So it's a way to Brock gets his win back, but
yeah.
But do you kind of, if you could, I don't know if Goldberg would agree to this, but do you kind of keep it a one-sided thing if it is a one-off?
Brock surprisingly would not sign off on that. That's how much respect he has for Bill.
Yeah.
How much he likes Bill. Yeah, that's crazy, right? Because you always hear about Brock doing the opposite. Not with Bill. He likes Bill. And I think he'll have his working boots on that night,
Right. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited for the match. I don't know how the crowd will respond, but I'm looking forward to it. Matt, thanks again for joining us this week. You got anything to plug?
Nope. Just same things, guys. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram at BP Matt Morgan.
All right, Matt. Well, we'll see you next week. And everyone, thanks again for joining us. Glenn will be back on Wednesday for our Wednesday afternoon podcast at noon Eastern, where we'll review SmackDown. So we'll see you then. Until then, have a good night.